an opportunity society. There is no alternative. I yield the floor. Need a copy of this, and I'd like to have them use. Sorry, Mr. President, I asked the quorum call.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Acosta.
The clock is ticking on the Veterans Jobs Bill, which is the pending business here in the Senate. A vote on whether to move forward with debate on another version of the Veterans Jobs Bill, the Murray substitute, is scheduled for after 1 a.m. tonight. There are several senators who are blocking the bill. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky said he'd remove his objection to the bill if he's allowed to offer an amendment that proposes to cut off aid to Pakistan, Libya, and Egypt. U.S. foreign aid to those countries is about $4 billion a year, and Senator Paul said his proposal would put $2 billion of that money towards the Veterans Jobs Bill, and the remaining $2 billion would go to deficit reduction. Republican presidential candidate Paul Ryan took a break from campaigning for votes on the House floor, which are happening right now. The Wisconsin congressman got some applause as he entered the House chamber. In fact, the House is voting right now on a GOP bill that's supposed to identify non-defense cuts to replace the automatic sequester budget cuts to the Defense Department that are set to occur in January. A tweet from Chad Pergram with Fox News gets away from politics, saying that Paul Ryan may go do P90X with his old workout group tomorrow morning in the House gym. As we wait for a senator to speak, the Fed said today that it'll spend $40 billion a month to buy mortgage bonds for as long as necessary, and it plans to keep short-term interest rates at record lows through mid-2015. In a press conference this afternoon, Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke said the Federal Reserve does not have a specific economic target for its new stimulus program and will keep buying bonds until it sees more jobs, lower unemployment, and stronger growth. Mr. Bernanke's press conference will be on C-SPAN after the House is out. We also covered today the director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Richard Cordray, testifying about his agency's operations before the Senate Banking Committee. You can see that after the Senate is out here on C-SPAN 2 and right now at cspan.org. Unless there's an agreement, the Senate could be in until after 1 a.m. Eastern. That's when a procedural vote is scheduled in the chamber.
Mr. President.
Senator from New Hampshire.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that the quorum call be lifted.
Without objection.
And I also ask to speak as if in morning business.
Without objection.
Thank you. Anybody who's been outside today knows that we had a beautiful day, and the last couple of days have just been beautiful. So it's hard to believe that the summer is actually coming to a close. But as it does end, I want to take a few minutes this afternoon to highlight something that's very important to us in New Hampshire and to the country, and that is tourism, particularly the Outdoor Industry Association, and its importance to local economies in New Hampshire and across this country. New Hampshire has long recognized the importance of conservation and the economic benefits that come from supporting outdoor recreation. Our beautiful state, like Connecticut, has an abundance of natural treasures. The White Mountain National Forest, our scenic lakes, our coastline. We may only have 18 miles of coastline, but it's beautiful, with beautiful beaches and rocky coves. These treasures draw visitors from across New England and from really all over the world. Protecting these natural resources is not just good for the environment, it's also critical to our economy. In fact, the outdoor recreation economy supports 53,000 jobs in New Hampshire alone, 6.1 million American jobs across the country. That's more than we have in the construction industry, in finance and insurance industries, or in the education industry. And even in this times of economic recovery, outdoor recreation produces $646 billion in direct consumer spending. Again, that's more than the pharmaceutical industry, motor vehicle parts, and household utilities. Americans today spend nearly as much on snow sports as they do on internet access, and considerably more on bicycle gear and trips than on airplane tickets and fees. This is all detailed in a report called the Outdoor Recreation Economy, which is a very interesting analysis of just what the outdoor recreation economy means to this country. I recently had the opportunity to visit Eastern Mountain Sports. EMS is a New Hampshire-based business that specializes in outdoor apparel and equipment. And at EMS, I saw the direct economic benefit that comes from our support for the development and conservation of outdoor recreation areas. I had a chance to talk to some of the 300 or so employees at EMS. They have stores throughout the East Coast, and they're just one example of the countless businesses that have grown strong thanks to the careful stewardship of our beautiful areas in this country, of the landscape that so many of their customers visit. Now, one of the ways that we have preserved the great outdoors at the federal level is through the Land and Water Conservation Fund. The fund was created in 1965, and it protects lands, forests, state and local parks, and critical wildlife habitat. This critical program also helps ensure hunting and fishing access, something also very important in New Hampshire. It supports battlefields, trails, sporting facilities, and outdoor recreation opportunities in every state. Every year since I arrived in the Senate in 2009, I've led a letter with Senator Leahy of Vermont to Senate appropriators that supports robust funding for the Land and Water Conservation Fund. The most recent letter was signed by 44 senators from both sides of the aisle, a very strong showing of bipartisanship from supporters who know that this is a program that works for the environment and works for small businesses. I'm also pleased to co-sponsor legislation, bipartisan legislation, that's led by Senator Bingaman that would permanently authorize the Land and Water Conservation Fund through dedicated funding. In New Hampshire, the LWCF has supported more than 650 local recreation and conservation projects, and it helps protect locations like the White Mountain National Forest, the Appalachian Trail, the Ambegog National Wildlife Refuge, and the Silvio Conti Wildlife Refuge. These scenic locations, whether they're enjoyed for relaxation, for exercise, they support jobs and local economies by increasing the demand for outdoor recreation equipment and by attracting visitors to our state. Those visitors eat in our restaurants, they shop in our small businesses, they stay in some of the most beautiful hotels you'll find anywhere in America. And the outdoor economy supports tourism, and tourism should be recognized as the economic engine that it is throughout this country. The travel and tourism industry is one of the top 10 industries in 48 states in the country. It supports over 14 million American jobs, and in New Hampshire, travel and tourism is our second largest industry, supporting over 60,000 jobs. I had the opportunity yesterday with a number of small business owners and representatives from New Hampshire to visit Brand USA, which is the national initiative that is the result of travel and tourism legislation passed by the Senate and Congress in 2010 to begin advertising the United States outside of this country. They have advertisements now in Canada, in the UK, in markets that are important as we think about how we attract visitors to the United States. Now, in New Hampshire, it's not difficult to see why tourism is so important. Visitors are drawn to New Hampshire for our charming attractions, for our landscapes, for our foliage, which is about to begin, actually. And they provide a beautiful environment for families to spend time together. During August, my husband and I actually had the opportunity to take all of our grandchildren, our 7 grandchildren, our entire family, 14 of us, up to the White Mountains. We stayed at the Mount Washington Hotel, which is at the base of Mount Washington. It's a beautiful hotel where the Bretton Woods Monetary Conference was held back in the late 1940s. And we had a great time. We went hiking. My oldest grandson went fishing with his father. One of my granddaughters went horseback riding with my daughter. We visited the Flume, which is a naturally occurring gorge in New Hampshire. We ended the several days that we were there visiting a place called Clark's Trading Post, which is a great family business in New Hampshire. They work with bears, black bears, who roam the woods of New Hampshire, and they've been working with them for 50 years. So it's a real trained bear show. In addition to that, they have attractions from New England. They have a railroad. Just a great place for the family to spend the afternoon. This was a wonderful trip. It brought our family closer. It allowed the cousins to visit with each other. We came back rested, restored. We had a great time investing in New Hampshire businesses. And as our family saw last month, conservation programs like LWCF are part of what we need to do to make sure that those kinds of experiences are available to everybody in New Hampshire and across this country. They're part of our responsibility to safeguard our environmental heritage. And more than that, as the outdoor recreation economy shows, and as so many reports show, they are an economic imperative that support millions of jobs nationwide. I'm going to continue to work to strengthen programs like the Land and Water Conservation Fund, work to continue to promote tourism and the outdoor recreation economy. And I urge all of my colleagues to join these efforts because they not only protect America's great outdoors, but they support the businesses and the outdoor recreation economy that they sustain. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I yield the floor and note the absence of a quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka.
The pending business here in the Senate is the jobs bill for veterans. Meanwhile, Roll Call has released its annual survey of congressional wealth. Representative Michael McCaul of Texas is the richest member of Congress for the second year in a row, reporting that in 2011 he had a minimum net worth surpassing $300 million. McCaul is followed by Senator John Kerry of Massachusetts, who reported a minimum net worth of $198 million. And Representative Gerald Issa is third, reporting a minimum net worth of $140 million. Senate Majority Leader Reid said the next vote here in the Senate will happen shortly after 1 a.m. tonight. That's a vote on whether to move forward with debate on another version of the Veterans Jobs Bill that the Senate has been debating. It includes all of the provisions in a proposal offered by Richard Burr of North Carolina, the top Republican on the Veterans Affairs Committee. Here's the LA Times take on what the Fed announced today. Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke said that grave concern about the nation's high unemployment rate led the central bank to launch another round of stimulus. Mr. Bernanke saying, quote, we've seen not enough job growth to bring down the unemployment rate, and what we need to see is more progress, and the Fed would continue with its stimulus until we do. Specifically, the Fed said it would buy $40 billion a month in mortgage-backed securities until the outlook for the labor market improves. Senators have come to the floor today talking about a number of issues, the AMT, foreign aid, and the Veterans Jobs Bill, which is the pending business here in the chamber. A story in the Associated Press says that a federal judge has temporarily blocked enforcement of a new insider trading law that would require nearly 30,000 federal workers to disclose details about their financial transactions on the Internet. A U.S. district judge issued a temporary preliminary injunction that bars the law, called the Stock Act, from being enforced on executive branch employees until at least November. That injunction does not affect members of Congress and their staffs. They still have to comply with the disclosure rules. Republican vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan is on Capitol Hill for votes this afternoon. The Associated Press writes that he'll go along with the stopgap spending bill in the House that avoids a government shutdown but carries a price tag of $19 billion higher than the budget he wrote in his role as a congressman. Ryan, who is the top budget writer in the House, planned to vote for that temporary spending bill that lets Congress keep the government open for another 6 months. This will allow lawmakers and President Obama to put off budget talks until after the November 6 election. And that vote on the temporary spending bill is happening right now in the House. As we wait for a senator to speak, tomorrow the White House is expected to release a report detailing the automatic spending cuts under the sequester. That's 1 week later than the deadline set by Congress. Congressional Quarterly writes that the release of the report comes as critics of the automatic spending cuts are trying to marshal support for efforts to stave off the cutbacks that are scheduled to begin in January, and particularly the reductions that would hit defense programs. That report will include an estimate from the Office of Management and Budget on how much will be cut from each federal program if the scheduled $109 billion in automatic cuts are implemented. And just a short time ago, the House passed a sequester-related bill, 223 to 196, that's supposed to identify non-defense cuts to replace the cuts to the Defense Department that are set to occur in January. Mr. Alexander.
Mr. President.
Senator from Washington.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the quorum call be lifted.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. President, I have come to the floor this evening to make a few things abundantly clear about the Veterans Job Corps legislation that the Senate is currently considering. First and foremost, the bill in front of us is fully paid for using offsets that both Republicans and Democrats have supported in the past. So this bill is paid for. Secondly, no matter what Republicans try to tell you, this is a bill that includes ideas from both sides of the aisle. In fact, of the 12 provisions in this bill, 8 of them started out as Republican ideas. We, in fact, included Senator Burr's entire alternative to this bill to make it even more bipartisan. And on top of bills that we've included, on top of that, we have included bills that are sponsored by Senator Toomey, Senator Boozman, Senator Johanns, and Senator Isaacson. So don't let anybody tell you that we haven't been inclusive in this process. We know on this side that we don't have a monopoly on good ideas to help solve the problem of our veterans who are looking for work today, and that's why we have included as many possible avenues to employment as possible in this legislation. Now, finally, and most importantly, I just want to make sure that everyone who's considering voting for the budget point of order that Senator Sessions has been out here talking about and indicated he may raise needs to know exactly what's at stake here. And believe me, every single veteran in the country needs to know what's at stake as well. What his budget point of order says is we are now going to draw a line in the sand on what we will provide for our nation's veterans. Doesn't matter if the bill's paid for, the point of order put the price tag on the care of veterans and then says, not a dime more. Now, this point of order really ties our hands. It says that even at a time of war, even at a time when nearly 1 in 5 young veterans are out of work, at a time when the veteran suicide rate is skyrocketing, and when more young veterans are becoming homeless, we're done. We're done. Veterans are on their own. It says that even if we find offsets for new investments and ideas to aid our nation's hero, we pay for it. Tough luck. Nothing you can do. It says that countless bills waiting for consideration by the Senate, sponsored by both Democrats and Republicans, can be tossed along the wayside. Mr. President, when are we going to realize that our veterans are a cost of these wars? That helping to give them the skills and training to find work is a cost of war? That their transition home is a cost of war? And that it's a cost we are going to face not just this year or next year or 10 years from now, but for the rest of these men and women's lives? When are we going to realize it's not enough to pat our veterans on the back for their service, but not give them a helping hand when they come home? The budget point of order says we've done enough for veterans. I say we can't do enough. Mr. President, less than 1% of U.S. citizens have served. Less than 1% of U.S. citizens have served for the well-being of the other 99%. It is simply wrong for us to say we're all out of help. Veterans across the country are watching. They're waiting. They're tired of excuses. They want to see we can get this bill to the finish line. Now, I know that some Republicans have pointed to the calendar as a reason for their opposition to this bill. Honestly, I wish it wasn't September either, and we didn't have to deal with politics here in Washington, D.C. But, you know, who could care less about what month it is or how many days out we are from an election? The nearly 1 million unemployed veterans looking for work. When you talk to them, their concern isn't what month it is or how many days for election. It's about what jobs are available in their community, what training program can they take advantage of, what's being done to honor their 2 or 3 or more tours overseas. Our answer can't be that we are all out of options. It can't be that their service was worth only so much. So I'm here this evening to urge Republicans to join us this evening in rising above politics, like we have done time and time again throughout history for our veterans, to ignore the calendar and do what's right. Let's send a message here from the United States Senate that our veterans come first, that we will keep our end of the bargain, that we will never put a price on the commitment we owe them. I urge my colleagues to join me in waiving the budget point of order when it's offered later this evening. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor, and I suggest the absence of a quorum.
Pursuant to the senator's request, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka.
The next vote here in the Senate is expected after 1 a.m. Eastern Time tonight, related to jobs for veterans. And depending on how that vote turns out, there could be votes in the Senate over the weekend. Republican presidential candidate Paul Ryan received applause as he entered the House chamber for votes this afternoon. The House voted on a short-term spending measure to keep the government operating through April. That's called a continuing resolution, or CR. Here are some tweets from reporters on Capitol Hill about that visit. The Hill tweets, "Paul Ryan, welcome back to the Hill like a celebrity." And Chad Pergram of Fox News writes, "House approved CR to avoid government shutdown. The vote was 329 to 91. 21 Democrats voted no. 69 Republicans voted no. Paul Ryan voted yes." And Jennifer Bendery of the Huffington Post tweeting, "Ryan votes yes on CR and leaves Capitol, saying he'll do P90X in his hotel room listening to Zeppelin and AC/DC."
Mr. Alexander.
Unless there's an agreement, the Senate could be in until after 1 a.m. Eastern Time tonight. That's when a procedural vote related to the Veterans Jobs Bill is scheduled in the chamber. The Federal Reserve said today that it will spend $40 billion a month to buy mortgage bonds for as long as necessary, and it plans to keep short-term interest rates at record lows through mid-2015. In a press conference this afternoon, Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke says the Fed does not have a specific economic target for its new stimulus program and will keep buying bonds until it sees more jobs, lower unemployment, and stronger growth. We're going to watch Mr. Bernanke's press conference as we wait for a senator to speak.
Good afternoon. Earlier today, the Federal Open Market Committee approved new measures to support the recovery and employment growth. I'll get to the specifics of our actions in a few moments, but I'd first describe the economic conditions that motivated the committee's decision to take additional actions. As you know, the Federal Reserve conducts monetary policy under a dual mandate from Congress to promote maximum employment and price stability. The United States has enjoyed broad price stability since the mid-1990s and continues to do so today. The employment situation, however, remains a grave concern. While the economy appears to be on a path of moderate recovery, it isn't growing fast enough to make significant progress reducing the unemployment rate. Fewer than half of the 8 million jobs lost in the recession have been restored. And at 8.1%, the unemployment rate is nearly unchanged since the beginning of the year and is well above normal levels. The weak job market should concern every American. High unemployment imposes hardship on millions of people, and it entails a tremendous waste of human skills and talents. 5 million Americans have been unemployed for more than 6 months, and millions more have left the labor force, many of them doubtless because they've given up on finding suitable work. As the skills of the long-term unemployed atrophy and as their connections to the labor market wither, they may find it increasingly difficult to get good jobs, to their and their families' cost, of course, but also to the detriment of our nation's productive potential. To help bolster the recovery and promote price stability, the FOMC has provided unprecedented levels of policy accommodation in recent years. With our main policy interest rate near its effective lower bound, we've been using two complementary tools to carry out monetary policy: balance sheet actions and forward guidance regarding how long we anticipate maintaining exceptional levels of policy accommodation. While providing the support, we've been prudent, carefully weighing the potential benefits and costs of each new policy action and recognizing that monetary policy, particularly in the current circumstances, cannot cure all economic ills. The FOMC has taken several actions this year. In January, it extended its forward guidance, stating that it anticipated that the federal funds rate will remain near current levels until late 2014. In June, the committee decided to continue through the end of the year the previously established program to extend the average maturity of the securities it holds by buying longer-term securities and selling an equivalent amount of shorter-term securities. However, incoming data confirm that the modest pace of growth continues to be inadequate to generate much progress on unemployment. With inflation anticipated to run at or below our 2% objective, the committee has become convinced that further policy accommodation is warranted to strengthen the recovery and support the gains we've begun to see in housing and other sectors. Accordingly, the FOMC decided today on new actions, electing to expand its purchases of securities and extend its forward guidance regarding the federal funds rate. Specifically, the committee decided to purchase additional agency mortgage-backed securities, or MBS, at a pace of $40 billion per month. The new MBS purchases, combined with the existing maturity extension program and the continued reinvestment of principal payments from agency debt and agency MBS already on our balance sheet, will result in an increase in our holdings of longer-term securities of about $85 billion each month for the remainder of the year. The program of MBS purchases should increase the downward pressure on long-term interest rates more generally, but also on mortgage rates specifically, which should provide further support for the housing sector by encouraging home purchases and refinancing. The committee also took 2 steps to underscore its commitment to ongoing support for the recovery. First, the committee will closely monitor incoming information on economic and financial developments in coming months, and if we do not see substantial improvement in the outlook for the labor market, we will continue the MBS purchase program, undertake additional asset purchases, and employ our policy tools as appropriate until we do. We will be looking for the sort of broad-based growth in jobs and economic activity that generally signal sustained improvement in labor market conditions and declining unemployment. Of course, in determining the size, pace, and composition of any additional asset purchases, we will, as always, take appropriate account of the inflation outlook and of their efficacy and costs. Additionally, the committee emphasized that it expects a highly accommodative stance on monetary policy to remain appropriate for a considerable time after the economic recovery strengthens. This should provide greater assurance to households and businesses that policy accommodation will remain even as the economy picks up. In particular, the committee today kept the target range for the federal funds rate at 0 to 1/4% and stated that it anticipates that exceptionally low levels for the federal funds rate are likely to be warranted at least through mid-2015. In conjunction with today's meetings, FOMC participants, the 7 board members and 12 Reserve Bank presidents, submitted their individual economic projections and policy assessments for the years 2012 through 2015 and over the longer run. Committee participants' projections for the unemployment rate in the 4th quarter of this year have a central tendency of 8.0 to 8.2%, declining to 6.0 to 6.8% in the 4th quarter of 2015, levels that remain somewhat above participants' estimates of the longer-run normal rate of unemployment. Participants' projections of inflation have a central tendency of 1.7% to 1.8% for this year and 1.8% to 2.0% for 2015. While the economy appears to be advancing at a moderate pace, with some improvements appearing in housing and elsewhere, FOMC participants see an economic outlook that remains uncertain. The economy continues to face economic headwinds, including the situation in Europe, tight credit for some borrowers, and fiscal contraction at the federal, state, and local levels. In addition, strains in global financial markets continue to pose significant downside risks. Before I take your questions, I'd like to briefly address 3 concerns that have been raised about the Federal Reserve's accommodative monetary policy. The first is the notion that the Federal Reserve security purchases are akin to fiscal spending. The second is that a policy of very low rates hurts savers. The third is that the Federal Reserve's policies risk inflation down the road. On the first concern, I want to emphasize that the Fed's purchases of longer-term securities are not comparable to government spending. The Federal Reserve buys financial assets, not goods and services. Ultimately, the Federal Reserve will normalize its balance sheet by selling these financial assets back into the market or by allowing them to mature. In the interim, the Federal Reserve's earnings from its holdings of securities are remitted to the Treasury. In fact, the odds are strong that the Fed's asset purchase programs, both through their net interest earnings and by strengthening the overall economy, will help reduce rather than increase the federal deficit and debt. On the second concern, my colleagues and I are very much aware that holders of interest-bearing assets, such as certificates of deposit, are receiving very low returns. But low interest rates also support the value of many other assets that Americans own, such as homes and businesses, large and small. Indeed, in general, healthy investment returns cannot be sustained in a weak economy. And of course, it's difficult to save for retirement or other goals without the income from a job. Thus, while low interest rates do impose some costs, Americans will ultimately benefit most from the healthy and growing economy that low interest rates help promote. And finally, on inflation. Inflation has varied in recent years, with swings in global food and fuel prices caused by a range of factors, such as drought and geopolitical tensions. However, overall inflation has averaged very close to the committee's goal of 2% per year for quite a few years now, and a variety of measures show that longer-term inflation expectations are quite stable. The Federal Reserve is fully committed to both sides of its mandate, to price stability as well as to maximum employment. And it has both the tools and the will to act at the appropriate time to avoid any emerging threat to price stability. Thank you. I'd be happy to respond to your questions.
Hi, Mr. Chairman. It's Darren Gershon at the Business Report. Your forecast doesn't get back to full employment for 4 years. So could these new bond purchases go on for years? And can you give us a better idea of when you'll, if you have specifics in mind, on when you'll know it's time to stop?
Yes, we'll be looking for signs that the economy is strong enough to promote improvement and sustained improvement in labor market conditions and declines in unemployment. I mean, we're not going to be able to sustain purchases until we're all the way back to full employment. That's not the objective. The idea is to quicken the recovery, to help the economy begin to grow quickly enough to generate new jobs and to reduce the unemployment rate. So that's the criterion we're looking at.
Christina Peterson with Dow Jones. The statement indicated that the highly accommodative stance would be maintained until after the recovery starts to strengthen, but there aren't any specific economic conditions that are described. Could you describe what those would be, or is the Fed seems reluctant to have done that so far?
Well, we've been talking about our communications at the FOMC and trying to think about how best to communicate to the public, you know, what our policy reaction function, so to speak, is. And we haven't, to this point, come to a set of numbers, a set of data that we can put out. But what we're trying to convey here is that we're not going to be premature in removing policy accommodation. Even after the economy starts to recover more quickly, even after the unemployment rate begins to move down more decisively, we're not going to rush to begin to tighten policy. We're going to give it some time to make sure the recovery is well established.
Mr. Chairman, I want to talk about that same line in the statement. Does that mean that your tolerance for inflation will be higher in coming years in the middle of the recovery? And if not, what good is that language there if it doesn't tell people that the reaction function relative to inflation has changed? Secondly, stock prices are up today. So are oil prices and gold. Why aren't those part of the same reaction to the Fed's acts today?
Well, our policy approach doesn't involve intentionally trying to raise inflation. That's not the objective. The idea is to make sure we provide enough support so the economy will grow fast enough to bring unemployment down over time. I mean, as we look back at the last 6 months or so, we've seen unemployment basically the same place it was in January. We've seen not enough jobs growth to bring down the unemployment rate. And what we need to see is more progress, and that's what we'll be looking at. In terms of the mid-2015 date, we think by that point that the economy will be recovering, will be providing the support it needs. But if you look at our projections, you'll see it doesn't involve any inflation, that we still believe that inflation is going to be close to our 2% target.
Sorry, I just need to follow up. Does this, so you're saying it does not include greater tolerance for inflation, that you would reverse course if inflation were to be above your target level, even given that statement?
Well, if inflation goes above the target level, as we talked about in our statement in January, we take a balanced approach. We bring inflation back to the target over time, but we do it in a way that takes into account the deviations of both of our objectives, you know, from their targets.